with Rody Jelleberg from Superior Grain. And Rody, we want to talk a little bit about grain handling and what you think people need to know about maintaining their systems and keeping things running smoothly.
Biggest thing is, we're at springtime right now. A lot of guys are emptying their bins. A lot of times guys won't think about what they need to do for next year, for the next harvest season, because it's springtime. But if their bin is empty, now's a great time to check out, make sure their unloads are working. Fans are a little bit tricky. That's one thing we always stress with guys is with a full floor aeration, being that floor is basically floating on that slab, you don't want to turn the fans on when there's no product on top of it. If you do, you risk tipping over the supports underneath the floor, and then when you fill the bin, then you have that soft spot and the floor starts to collapse. So we typically tell guys, make sure you have 2 rings full on the inside before you turn your fans on. A lot of times guys won't think about checking the actual bin itself. Make sure that there's no ripples, no recorrugating, make sure that everything looks good. I mean, typically you'll be able to see if you've got a problem with the bin. A lot of guys will have issues with plugged unloads. That's been a common thing for years. We do have something that helps break up the clumps, and we call our blockbuster. It's on our new unloads, and essentially what happens when you get condensation inside, whether it's from drying the grain or if you get snow blowing in through the roof vents, anything that gets on top of that, as the grain will sweat, you get some heat, get some condensation, you'll get crusted over areas, but when it pulls everything down through the center of the bin, the first place it's going to go is into that unload. We came up with a system that actually you can engage the gearbox on the sweep in reverse, so it spins about a 8 to 12 inch section of flighting backwards, and it's got little spikes on it. Allows the unload to still run forward, so it'll break up the clumps, auger it out. You can turn that off and then continue augering down. You want to stay out of that bin at all costs. A trick that a customer told me years ago that I still tell everybody to this day, and I've had people call back and say I can't believe it, but it worked, is you wire the motor on the unload backwards and you take the top off your accessible area outside the bin and put 3 to 4 dozen golf balls in the unload. You run it backwards, and what happens when it gets to the back, basically it'll build up that clump of golf balls, and it'll sit there and hammer at that clump, break it loose, shut it off, run it out by hand, close your gate so you're not augering more grain in there, but then you get those golf balls out of there.
Who'd have known that golf balls could save lives?
Exactly.
So why is right now, before we even have a crop to consider putting in a bin, a good time to do these maintenance items rather than waiting until fall?
One thing is just to be prepared. Typically you don't have time in the heat of the season to get other stuff ready. You're trying to get out there and get harvest ready, get your combines ready. If you need service from us or your local provider, whoever it may be, that is our busy time of year. So if you do it early, you're getting it done, you have that peace of mind that it is done, and you're ready for harvest.
And when someone does call you guys out, what are some things that they should remember about interacting with their service technician and how you guys need things to be done and need to be treated?
You expect to buy a product and have it work flawlessly, but everybody knows whether you buy a car, whether you buy a grain bin, whether you buy a fridge, there's going to be issues with it. And a lot of times we take the brunt of it on the phone from the customer because tensions are running high depending on what time of year. The old saying is you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
And taking care of some of that stuff right now is probably going to diffuse some of that and give you more time to make sure it's all right.
Yes, yep, tensions are a little bit cooler right now. If guys have questions, they can always reach out to us. We've got a really passionate team. We love what we do. Reach us by phone, social media, email, however you want to do it. Answer any questions you have. Just give us a call.
Thanks, Rody. You can contact Superior Grain with all of your questions on grain handling and grain drying by visiting their website, giving them a call, or contacting them on social media.